stole my package. Dropped my package off, took a picture like it was delivered, and stole it because either it was a female who wanted that brand or he wanted it for his girlfriend. So I was mad. So what does Jamie do? You know, and mind you, Jamie's in a certain part of her menstrual cycle. Okay, so let's just have that background. You're not going to know what I'm talking about, but Marissa, you might. Okay, so first thing I do is like, oh no, not today, sir, not today. Hop in my car, and I'm like, he just dropped it off. I just got the notification that it was there. Went outside within a minute. And everything's gone. So I'm like, okay, this guy didn't get far. So I hopped in the car and I'm like, I'm going to find him. I'm going to find this FedEx driver. And I'm like, and I'm on the phone and I'm trying to get this customer service to FedEx because I'm like, I'm going to call FedEx right now. And I'm going to say, hey, you got a dirty driver here who just dropped off my package, took a picture and stole it. I was fired up. So I'm like, what the heck? Okay, let's go. FedEx has got to be headed back out of town. So I get to the river bridge, and of course there's construction. So there's a light at the river bridge. Who do I see? 5 cars stopped at the light. The FedEx truck. Like, there he is. I'm going to get him. So of course I'm like, come on, light, let's go. In the meantime, trying to find out more FedEx information. I'm trying to get on the 1-800 number to get the FedEx drivers, yada, yada. They're asking me for all these numbers. I'm trying to drive. All this stuff's going on. Get through the river bridge. I'm following this guy. And I thought, as I'm on the phone, on the speakerphone, it says, your package was delivered at 11:32 a.m. And then it clicked. And I'm like, 11:32 a.m. It's 3:30. Why did I just get a notification now? 11:32. Oh God. So I'm still driving down the highway trying to keep this FedEx driver in eyesight. I call Piper. Mind you, I was at Reagan's house, so I wasn't home. She was at my son's house dog sitting, and she had to get ready for work. So I call her. By the grace of God, she answers. I said, did you get a package from White Fox? Did you get the package? Oh, yeah. Because, see, in my mind, she hasn't been home because I thought she went to work from Parker's house and didn't stop at home. She goes, oh, yeah. He dropped it off right when I was coming home, so I grabbed it and put it in my room. And I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, my God.
It would have been so much cooler if you would have got out of your vehicle at the red light, at the bridge, and went and knocked on his window.
Oh, my God. So, I mean, seriously, that was my plan. Anyway, okay, so.
So we're back again.
We're back.
We're the Jury Dropouts. I'm Mike.
I'm Jamie.
Hey, I'm Marissa.
And Jamie is, hopefully she's got her frustrations out now.
Yeah.
Are you calm now?
I'm better now.
Okay.
Better now.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about today?
Well, so we recently had some information come out about the Idaho 4 murder case. If you are familiar with the name Brian Kohberger, he was the one accused of murdering these 4 Idaho college students, and he just submitted a plea, and took a plea deal, and pled guilty on these 4 murders.
And his plea deal was to get rid of the death penalty.
Yep.
Life in prison.
Did you know what the death penalty was?
I think I do, but go ahead.
It was a firing squad.
Well, yeah. You know, that is the coolest way to go.
Who has been put to death by the firing squad?
There was one not that
Pirates?
long ago. No, there was.
No kidding?
Yeah, North Carolina. I'll find it out. But what I didn't get in the documentary is how they were saying that they haven't come up with the right concoction or whatever for lethal injection. And I'm thinking, don't a lot of people die by lethal injection?
I think so.
So I was thrown off why they said that and said that it was bringing back the firing squad.
So I think on the lethal injection, some of the chemicals that were used have been outlawed by certain states. So I think Nebraska went through that several
Okay.
years ago, where one of the chemicals used in, because there's several.
Is it considered inhumane?
I don't know. It's so dumb. When you kill him, you kill him. I mean, you could, whether it be firing squad or hanging or lethal injection, electrocution, push him off the ship. Fuck, does it matter?
This says the last person executed by firing squad was Ronnie Lee Gardner on June 18th, 2010 in Utah.
Mm.
He was the first such execution in the United States in 14 years.
So I think on a firing squad, they have
He was convicted of murder and capital murder in 1985.
Yeah. When you're on
Jeez.
death row, you're there for a while. A long while. I think it's to give you the opportunity to make a whole shit ton of appeals and waste a
And he
bunch of
chose
taxpayer
the
time.
firing squad as his method of
Yeah, I was going to
execution.
say, I think it is an option to choose how you die in some states. Anyway.
The firing squad's interesting because I think, don't they have there's so many people with the firearm, but is it true that only one person has a bullet?
Oh, look. But this says it was carried out by 5 volunteer executioners.
And I think that's kind of how they do it. Volunteers. And I don't know if I could volunteer.
Wow.
Well, depending on who it was. Maybe I could. I wonder what caliber gun they use.
Then just be like anything else. Who's the one pushing the injection for the lethal injection? Who's the one turning the switch for the electric chair?
A firing squad execution involves a group of shooters, usually 5, aiming rifles at a condemned prisoner, often with one shooter having a blank round to potentially conceal the shooter who delivered the fatal shot.
Okay. So you don't know if you have the blank or not.
The prisoner is typically restrained, hooded, and has a target pinned over their heart.
Wow.
Say what caliber? Anybody familiar with firearms knows a blank from a real.
The
Is it-
shooters use
recoil's
rifles,
different?
often a 30 caliber.
Oh yeah, there's definitely recoil then. So there would be a big difference between recoil from a blank and one that has an actual bullet. So they probably pick people that have never shot a rifle in their life, and they probably assume that only one of them's actually going to hit him. That's a joke.
1,
Okay, so back to, wow, that kind of went.
There's only 4 states allowing the firing squad.
Oh, see. So
Idaho,
Utah, obviously.
Mississippi, and South Carolina.
Interesting.
There's your history lesson.
No.
So I keep hitting this dang mic. Anyway, not you, Mike.
Oh,
Only in my dreams.
I've never stolen your packages.
Good. Don't ever. Well, okay, so I told you to watch the documentaries on these shows to give you a little bit of understanding on what was going on. So did that make a little bit of sense of what happened here?
It did.
Yeah,
Actually,
I
it
thought
cleared
so
a lot
too.
up. Well, for a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just, these 4 students at the University of Idaho were murdered. And I'm not going to have the dates written down because I don't remember the dates.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
It's the same as their address. November of 2022. Their
Is that-
address was 1122.
11/22.
Oh.
But wasn't it the 13th? I think it was like
That's
the
a-
13th.
It was, which is also the day I was born,
Yeah.
the 13th.
Is that a weird coincidence? It's just a coincidence, huh?
Kind of fucking weird. So
Anyway, so they were murdered. They had 2 other roommates that were living with them at the time. And the whole situation initially was just odd. Odd with the fact that the 911 didn't get called till very late the next morning. The 2 roommates that were that had survived didn't check on them earlier. It just was kind of a weird situation.
the 911 call itself was weird.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but
Let's talk about how that went down then on the 911.
Well, yeah. So the way I understood it, and this is how I picture it in my head. So this is how the way I am going to tell the story of kind of what I think happened. But these college kids were all out that night and they were probably consuming alcohol. I assume.
Probably.
I assume. Now, this house was a known party house on campus. It was kind of a free-for-all open door policy on this house. Just keep that in the back of your mind. But the 911 call happened later in the morning because during the night, the one roommate was hearing some commotion going on. She had opened the door and looked in the hallway and was met by a figure wearing black and a mask with just his eyebrows and eyes showing. She sees him, he sees her. She kind of freezes, doesn't say anything, and then she closes the door. So she closes the door and she starts texting her roommates, like, what's going on? Who's this? I'm freaked out. What's going on? And the only one that's responding to her is the roommate, Bethany, that's in the downstairs bedroom. And she says, come down to my room. So she goes down to her bedroom and the two of them are together, probably still intoxicated, not really sure what's going on. And I suppose when they're, the one girl doesn't really have a clue what's going on. And in fact, I think she said that I didn't know if it was real or not. I didn't know if I was having a dream, if my mind was playing tricks on me. She didn't really know if what she saw was real. And so I think when they're texting their roommates and they don't get a response, I think they just are assuming that they're asleep. And it wasn't until that morning when they get a little bit more clear and they're thinking that they're like, this is really odd. They're not awake yet and something is going on. And so the one girl calls her friend and says, I'm really freaked out. Can you come over? And so that friend says, yeah, I'll come over. She grabs her boyfriend. They go over to the house. And then that's when the bodies are discovered. The boyfriend sees the one girl in the hallway and she tells those girls, get out and call 911, and doesn't really say much. When the roommate had called the friend, she had already explained to them that I think Zaina's passed out in the doorway. She's not waking up. And also, I think I saw somebody in the house last night. But yet she's there with this memory of, is it true? Is it not? I don't know. And so when they called 911, the initial one that started talking, I think was Dylan was her name, I think, was the one who made the call. It was either Dylan or Bethany, one of the two roommates, made the initial call. And she's, of course, now frantic because she's now realizing something strange is really going on. So she gets on 911. She's like, yeah, something's happening. I don't know what's happening. There's something happening. I think my friend is passed out. She's not waking up. And the 911 asks for the address. She starts to give her the address, and I think then this girl just kind of loses it. Hands the phone over to the friend that came over. Then the friend interjects and says, and takes over the call and says, okay, we've got a situation here. There's a roommate that is passed out and not waking up. And, oh, by the way, they think somebody was in their house last night. So she's just relaying the information that she got from the roommate to come over to the 911 caller. So I think that's why there's so much confusion. And then I think the girl ultimately handed the phone to Ethan because Ethan is the one who actually kind of made a tour of the house and found the bodies and knew what the heck was going on. Because the two girls, he said, get out. They don't really know what's happened yet. So then he takes the phone and he explains, oh no, there's something more going on. So I think that's why there was so much confusion and why the phone was getting passed around and there was misinformation at the beginning.
And mind you, these girls are probably, they were probably intoxicated from the night before. Uh-huh. And so I know the more I thought about this, that 911 was made late morning. Well, when you're a college student, you've been out drinking till 2, 3, sometimes 4 in the morning. You're probably not getting up at 6.
Right.
You're probably not getting up till damn near noon anyway. And not to mention, you're under the influence when all this is going on. So you mentioned that that one of the girls which one saw the figure in the house?
I just said it.
Okay.
What is it? Dylan.
Dylan.
Like it starts with a D. Dylan.
So, I mean, when you're under the influence, there's probably a little bit of confusion because you're not even sure if what you're looking at is real because you're kind of in that state of,
Yeah.
what the,
There's fuzziness.
yeah.
And before she had opened the door, she had heard these voices, and she had heard a man's voice saying, "Don't worry, I'm here to help you." And so, she probably is wondering, why is there a dude in the house to help us? But, also what I said is this house is not, it's basically a party house. So it's not uncommon to have people coming in and out of the house. They even stated that sliding glass door was typically kept unlocked.
Sure.
I mean, there was even reports of a party going on when none of them were there. The cops had gotten called to. This house was actually also, reported a lot for excessive noise and things like that. And so one of the incidents was the police showed up for a noise complaint, and none of the actual tenants were home. There was a party going on and none of them were there. So, I mean, it really wasn't uncommon to have a lot of strange people in the house.
So there's a 911 call. Law enforcement shows up, and the scene is grisly.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. So I think that one of the things that I saw is there was so much blood within the house that it was actually running out of the side of the house and down the foundation.
Yeah, on the outside.
On
Can
the
you
outside.
imagine that?
So I can't imagine what the inside of that house would look like. And maybe I'm wrong on this, but was there blood, like handprints on the door frame on the outside of the house too?
I think
Did
the
I see
report
that
said
right?
on a railing of some sort.
It could be,
I thought
but
I read.
there must have been. So there's 4 people in there, and 4 people have been stabbed to death repeatedly. So it's not like just one stab, go to the next one stab. There, and one girl, I believe, was she stabbed more than the others?
I think so.
What was her name? 'Cause that was
Wasn't it Maddie?
Maddie.
They think that she was the initial.
Yeah, there was.
Target.
I don't know if it was Maddie or it was one of those 2 girls. It was Maddie or Kaylee that were in the bed together.
But so I mean, a lot of stab wounds. It had to be a massive amount of blood. I'm still a little bit confused when the girls, the surviving girls, come out of the room. Well, I think in the middle of the night, didn't one of them tell the other one when they're texting back and forth, "Come to my room downstairs, run"?
Yeah. That was after Dylan had seen him close the door, and she started texting all of the roommates. And Bethany, the one that slept downstairs, she was the only one that responded, and she's like, "All right, hurry up and come to my room. Hurry up, come now."
So they were probably both downstairs in the morning.
Yeah.
And all the victims were upstairs on the 2nd and 3rd floor. And
Yeah.
and they didn't go up and look, I don't think. I could be wrong.
No, but she saw.
I think so. The one they went upstairs and saw Zana still in the doorway.
Oh yes, laying down like she's passed out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's why then they can't talk. They decided to call a friend to come over because they were it's one of those situations, if you're scared, you don't want to see.
Sure.
You don't want to see it. So
And
you're
you
basically
probably
calling for backup to say, "Hey, freaked out by
probably,
this.
you've
And
got some fog from the night before too. So
and this is reported to be just kind of I don't want to say a sleepy little town, but a very nice town. This wasn't a town that had a lot of crime in it. And so I don't think any of these girls growing up were used to a situation like this. I mean, I don't think they were growing up in the hood and seeing this kind of thing or being privy to a lot of crime.
So law enforcement arrives, they see this grisly scene. And of course, when law enforcement's there, they're going to start looking for evidence and try and figure out what the hell happened. So obviously what had happened is 4 people was killed, so now they got to figure out who did it. So they find a knife sheath. They didn't find any fingerprints, I don't believe. But they did get some surveillance video, or like ring video. Was there anything else collected in that house?
I don't think
That
so.
might have been it.
I think that was the only thing was the knife sheath.
So in the video, they noticed a vehicle that seemed to be circling a lot. Mm-hmm. That was repeatedly back and forth, at least over a period of time where they think that maybe the murders had taken place, because they knew that it had to take place after everybody was home, and that was at 2 or 3 in the morning. And then there was a DoorDash that was right around 4.
Yeah, I think that's when it was delivered. She had that Zaina had placed a DoorDash order, and I think the cameras had showed that being delivered right around 4 o'clock.
Okay, so they know that the murder has to take place at least after that.
Yeah, because they showed the vehicle making several rounds, and almost as if they're speculating, I think, that, he sees the lights on still in the house. And so he continues to drive and just go in circles. And I guess just probably waiting for the right moment.
So they get the video, and I think they were able to ID that vehicle off the video itself, weren't they?
I think so. Well, the type of vehicle. I don't think they had a
I think
plate
the
number.
make and model they were able to.
They had
Yeah.
a type.
And to know that it didn't have a front plate.
And they knew it didn't have a front plate, so it was a white, what?
Hyundai Elantra.
Hyundai Elantra with no front plate. And so they begin to search for that vehicle. And I think, didn't they locate one fairly quick? I think within the next few days on a campus in Washington at Washington State University. Is that right?
Yeah, that's where
Okay.
that's where he was living.
Yeah. And gosh, I don't remember what happened directly after that.
Well, he was stopped. So the story goes is he had made a phone call to his parents, and I don't know if his dad flew out, but he actually got stopped, and I don't remember where, but he got stopped on their way back to Pennsylvania. They were driving back, him and his dad.
On the interstate.
On the
interstate,
interstate.
yeah.
And he got picked up for the weirdest thing, which was tailgating. Mm-hmm. Too close.
And I think as soon as,
Twice.
Yeah. Odd.
if I remember right, after that police officer ID'd the vehicle at the Washington State University parking lot, I think they probably began surveillance at that time, at least.
Yeah. Story goes, or rumor
FBI
is they
did.
were surveilling him before then. And that's probably why they made the stops.
So he goes back to his dad's place in Pennsylvania, and they continue surveillance. And they notice that he comes out of the house with some trash, because I think they're looking for DNA.
Yeah. And so to back up, they had actually found DNA on that knife sheath on the button.
Yeah, on the snap.
And so they have a DNA profile, but it doesn't match anyone.
No.
So that's why they're trying to find DNA.
And there is a new method on this DNA, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a genealogy where they can take a piece of DNA, apparently put it into a system, and they can kind of get like a mapping of a family that it may have come from, but it won't necessarily identify an individual. I don't know how that works, if you have to be somebody subscribes or whatever to whatever these genealogy sites are.
Probably like Ancestry DNA.
Yeah. Something like that. So, I think, if I remember correctly, that the DNA matched
His
at least
dad.
that family. Yeah,
I think it
something within
matches
that
his
family.
dad.
His dad and his grandpa.
Yeah. So they're looking for DNA. They're doing surveillance on the house. He comes out with some trash, and they do a trash pull, which is pretty common. I mean, anybody in law enforcement has done an investigation, and they're doing surveillance on a place. Trash pulls are done quite often, and they're lots of fun.
But bizarre that he comes out with gloves on,
Yes.
taking the trash out.
And dumps it in the neighbor's trash can.
And dumps it in. I mean, nothing suspicious here. So, do they do this more than once? I was thinking they did it more than
No,
once.
they just did that once. But when they went into his house or went into his parents' house, and it was his parents' house, and they found him with gloves on, separating his trash
Yes,
out of his parents' trash into like Ziploc bags.
sure. Separating the trash.
Yeah.
Which they claim was normal behavior for him. I doubt it. But that's what they say. So,
I mean, he was an odd duck, but I don't know. That's going to the extreme.
sure. Now, DNA takes a while to get. So, they do this trash pull. They probably pick out a few items that they're going to have submitted for some DNA testing to see if there's a match. And I think in the meantime, they maybe do a little bit of history on him. And his history is a little odd.
It's very odd. Very odd.
So what do we know about his history? He's,
Well, where do we want to start? So back in high school, evidently he was a chubby boy. And he
Yeah.
also had a heroin addiction.
yes.
So
And he wasn't, he didn't have a lot of friends. He wasn't like a real,
he
was
was a
maybe-
loner.
yeah, socially awkward maybe is what I'm looking for. And he's chubby. And he has a heroin addiction. But he goes to rehab, cleans himself up, and then he reinvents himself. He starts working out, loses some weight. I think
Becomes
he loses,
vegan.
yeah,
Yeah.
loses
And-
125 pounds.
In almost an obsessive compulsive kind of way, I think, is what they described.
Yeah. And then he goes on to school. And I think he's seeking something in law enforcement or like a criminal justice.
So to back up, how he got clean was he actually had stolen his sister's phone and his dad turned him in.
Oh, yes.
And so then he went to rehab, and in rehab, it apparently stuck, and that's when his change happened.
Sure. And then he goes to college. Now, is this during college? No, it was maybe just before college. Did he do military service? I can't recall. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But he goes to college and he gets into criminal justice, and he's actually a pretty good student at the first college he attends.
Mm-hmm. Which I can't remember what it was. It was some university.
Yeah. And
I think back where he lived, right?
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
I had never heard of it,
Yeah.
but
Some state university.
a pretty good student. I think maybe one of the instructors said that maybe the number 1 or number 2 student in her class, maybe one of the second best students she's ever had. Once again, he's still odd, still a little bit socially awkward, but kind of reinvented himself. He's clean. He's a little more fit. Finishes college there, and then gets accepted into Washington State University, where he's going to pursue his doctorate.
Yeah, and he also got a position as a teacher's aide.
Yes.
Yeah, at Washington State.
Didn't go well for him, no.
No.
No, he's still, it's the female students complain. They think that maybe he's sexist in his grading and how he treats them.
Not only that, he was also reported then later on that he had followed one of those students out to her car.
Yeah, what happened there?
She just was creeped out by the situation. He followed her out to her car. I don't know if I can't remember if there was some type of exchange or not, but she was very weirded out about it. And so she actually reported it to, I'm assuming, the dean or faculty or some sort. And he got reprimanded for that.
And he had some other odd behavior, I think, at a pool party too. One, I think, one of the stories I heard on that documentary was that he approached a female that was married. And I don't know if he's trying to strike up a conversation or what the conversation entailed. He's kind of a weird guy. But the wife, the girl that he's talking to, kind of signals to her husband, kind of, get me out of here, help me out. So the husband comes over and says something to him, and he just doesn't take the hint. He just keeps on talking, keeps on doing whatever he's doing with this female, which they find odd. He tries to strike up conversations with other people at the party. I think he ends up holding a conversation with the DJ, which the DJ ultimately had to tell him, hey, dude, I got a job to do, so take a hike.
Yeah, one of those people that just doesn't take the hint.
No.
It just has this unawareness of, it makes you wonder if he's on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like an Asperger's, because they're kind of, people who have Asperger's are kind of that way. Just don't have that social awareness, don't have the boundaries, can't really gauge a conversation.
Yeah. But he talks to another female there, and this other female that he talks to, they get into a conversation and they start talking about hiking. And supposedly he expressed his interest in hiking. And she actually exchanged phone numbers with him. And I don't know if it was the next day or was it the next day?
Yeah.
That he sends her a text, but it's not like, hey, what's up? Want to go hiking? It's like in long form, like you're writing somebody a letter.
Yeah, and use the verbiage. You mentioned something about hiking. I really enjoy that activity.
Yeah.
What?
That's my favorite activity. Yeah, just the
Who
words
says I
he
really
used,
enjoy that activity?
which she took as odd, and wisely, I think she ignored it.
Right.
But he ultimately did make friends with another female on the campus. A gal not from the United States. I don't know if she was here on a school visa or what, but
Before you tell this story,
okay.
let's talk about the other female that he had a date with that was interviewed. This gal said that she went on a date with him. The date was going okay. They were having conversation, and she actually invited him up to her apartment. So he goes up to her apartment and weirdly, just out of the blue, starts tickling her. And she's like kind of creeped out by, why is he touching me? Like,
Wait, is that weird?
Why is he tickling me? So she ends up going to the bathroom and pretending that she's throwing up, that she's sick, to get him out of the house because she is weirded out by him. And so he does kind of take the hint and he leaves. And he ends up sending a follow-up text, I think later that night, and says, yeah, thanks for the good time I had a good time, and by the way, you've got good birthing hips.
Yes. I mean, which is something you would normally say.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I think I'm going to get a shirt that says I tickle on the first date.
Excuse me?
So, okay, yes, it is odd, but then I think to myself, was he hearing some like slang from these parties? You know, from guys talking. He's like, "Yeah, that chick, she's got some good birthing hips there." You know, just out of did he hear that and thought that, oh, that must, I'm gonna keep that one locked in
Ooh,
here as
that's
a
a good one.
pickup line.
That's a good one. You have great birthing hips.
You know, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, he had to have gotten that from somewhere. He had to have heard guys just shooting the shit. Like, oh, check out that one's birthing hips.
And if anybody's listening, telling a woman that she has great birthing hips is probably not going to be taken as a compliment. Maybe for a few select women, but probably not most.
But it means baby's got back.
Yes. And hips.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So then back to your story about this other gal. So I think they were coworkers.
Co-workers, and actually became somewhat close, and probably the only person that he was ever really close to, I can imagine, certainly during college. And he kind of gets weird with her too.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point, she has a key come up missing to her apartment, and they share an office, and their desks, I think, are maybe across from each other.
Or close vicinity.
Yeah, close proximity. So, but she ends up having it's weird. It's like so somebody gets into her apartment and just moves stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like takes the things in her bathroom, and was it stuff out of the medicine cabinet?
Yeah. Yeah. They said stuff on her shelf that was in her bathroom shelf.
And lines it up. Like, I don't know if it was lining it up on the sink or on the...
I thought they said the back of the toilet
Or
seat.
the back of the toilet.
Like
Just
the tank part?
Just odd stuff like that. Which is just weird. And I don't know if he was trying to freak her out so she would call him to the rescue, I assume. But so she decides she's going to have cameras installed. And then she can't figure the cameras out. They're kind of like probably a Ring camera, but something she's putting in her house, Arlo, whatever the case may be. So she can't figure it out, so she calls him to come and help. And I think she realizes, and I don't know if it's while he's helping with the install or shortly after. I think it's after that. Crap. It might have been him doing it the whole time anyway. And now he might have his phone hooked into my camera system. So now is he going to be watching me on the cameras?
Yeah, and I think the reason she thought of that is because back to this key.
Yes.
This key she kept in her drawer in her desk was where she always kept it. It was missing. And then she tells him, "Hey, my key's gone. This is weird." And then lo and behold, a couple hours later, the key is found again.
Shows back
it's just
up.
Mysteriously there again.
Yeah.
Or magically there again, I should say.
So besides his odd behavior there, when he interacts with people, excuse me, he has some other odd stuff, like his Google searches.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you're referring to, but back when he was a student at his first university, and he was in this criminal justice class, he actually did a research and paper on Ted Bundy and was doing a lot of research on Ted Bundy. And a lot of information was found in his computer about him. Which
maybe for some people might not be odd. But we're talking about lots of odd things. Like a culmination of everything. So you have somebody that exhibits some odd behaviors that, not antisocial, but very socially awkward. You talk about the deal with the girl where the key comes up missing, then it shows back up. In the meantime, someone gets into her apartment. It does weird stuff with things in her house. He's just weird.
So we just did a podcast about a stalker situation for myself, my personal story. And in that, I didn't mention some of the things, some of similar things like that. Finding weird stuff placed in odd positions or places. Random things. Like I would have random things in a pile in the middle of the living room. Odd.
It makes you wonder a little bit if
And
they
he's
want to
doing
be.
the same thing. I don't know the reason, but the same thing happened to me. My stuff would be missing, but also there would be random things placed for me to find.
Sure. It's like
Yeah.
they don't want you to know they've been there, but they kind of
But
want you to know they've been there.
And I think that's part of their psyche. I think they want somebody to know that I'm here, I have the upper hand, I'm better than you, I know something you don't.
I don't know. I don't go around to people's houses moving shit around, but
Would-
yeah, it is something. It's I mean, they're being sneaky by taking your stuff.
Well, and it turns out that, they had described him as having this, I can't remember what the name she said it was, but she had this description of him that he was celibate almost by choice because of his personality, because they're basically thinking this was targeted towards women because he had this animosity towards women or anger towards women because they wouldn't pay attention to him.
Sure.
But at the same time, he thought he was better than all of these women.
Sure. And that friend of his actually, I think, expressed some interest in him. And he's like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
So I also wonder if it's a specific type of female that he's looking for.
An unattainable one.
Yes, ones he can't have because they go through his phone when they're going through his social media. I think this after he was picked up
That has to
or
be.
caught. Well, to back up a little bit, some other things that they watched on how he gets caught anyway is the movements of his cell phone. So they noticed that his cell phone had been to that area for no reason, really, multiple times. And I think it was heading in that direction the night of the murders and then shuts off.
Yeah, I think he had been in that area 23 times.
Yeah.
Like months before.
Sure.
As if he was casing the place.
Yeah, scoping it out. Maybe making a plan.
Stalking.
Yeah.
Which you had asked that question before, is why those people? Why were they targeted? Why them? I think maybe there's a theory that he had gone to the restaurant or the place that Maddie had worked.
It was a vegan.
And maybe, who knows? Maybe he came on to her. Maybe he said something. Maybe she ignored him, said something nasty back. Who knows? I don't know. But I think that's maybe, and it's hard to know because he's not going to say now.
No.
But I think that's what the speculation was, is that she was the original target. Probably for something like that. Probably because she offended him. I don't know. Who knows? And I think he probably ended up following her, and he knew which room was hers because she had it in display in that upper second story bedroom.
Sure, with the, was it pink boots and the
Yeah.
big M?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was pretty easy to figure out where she was.
Sure.
And I think probably, and I know I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but I think he was surprised then to see her friend in her bed with her. And then also then was maybe surprised by Zaina stumbling upon him in the apartment. And then he just kind of sporadically in the moment did what he did.
Yeah. And it could be just that if he's seen her in a spot somewhere, wherever it might have been, she just really happened to hit some sort of a profile that he had a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
And when you looked at when they ultimately got in her phone and they go through his social media, there's all kinds of pictures in there of different women. But, while they were scrolling through, it did seem to me, I could be way off here, that a couple of those women looked similar to her. Now, I'm not saying that it was her, but maybe it was a profile that for whatever reason that
Yeah.
set him off. And he saw her and he's like, nope, she's got to go.
Well, and who knows? It could have been somebody that reminded him back when he was a kid that did something to him. Who knows? But and the weird thing is there was no rape, no sexual assault on any of them.
No, nothing.
No.
They would just basically go in, stab and go.
Well, he did mutilate the
The guy,
the
the
kid,
boy,
Yes.
yeah, or the
boy.
guy that was in there.
Sure, carved his legs up.
Yeah.
They said maybe it was because he was male.
Yeah, and there's also some weird stuff that he did. He got on to a lot of chat, like a chat room type of thing, and was making a bunch of comments saying like he was trying to implicate a fraternity in this chat room and saying he actually did an interview, and I can't remember who the interview was with, but in his interview, he said that you'd be surprised. Like, I've been approached by some guys from a fraternity that said, if you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with it without being caught? Like, he's planting the seeds that he's trying to incriminate fraternity guys. So not only did he have a problem with women, but he also had a problem with guys with that type of stereotype. Like the popular jocks, get along with everybody, successful type guys. Like he had animosity towards both.
Sure, and I can see that with somebody that's socially awkward that can't seem to develop friendships with
It's
people.
not accepted by anyone.
So, in turn, he's pissed off at people that do, which is my problem with most people. So, what were some other things at law enforcement? So they had the tracking of the phone. They had the DNA from the knife sheath. They discovered that he had actually purchased that particular knife from Amazon. Then he tried, I think, to reorder it because he realized that, shit, I
The
dropped
sheath is gone.
my sheath.
Yeah, which then brings up too that, he had returned to the crime scene the next morning.
Yeah.
And their speculation is that he was looking for that sheath that he dropped.
And
Whether he was looking outside or he was doing what typical serial killers do is view the crime scene after the fact to see if there's any activity, which he had also done some other things that might indicate that's actually what he was doing. He was looking to see, because he had at like close to 5:00 in the morning, he had logged in to an anonymous email, and from this email he was looking up Yik Yak. Have you heard of Yik Yak?
That sounds familiar. What is Yik Yak?
Okay, Yik Yak is a social media platform that's anonymous that is used by typically college kids. It was used a while back at our high school, and then it got banned. But it's completely anonymous, and from what I had read on Yik Yak when that was happening, it's just a lot of trash talk on a lot of people. But it's kind of it's an app to where the kids are keeping up what's going on around the area or on campus, basically. So he had logged on anonymously to Yik Yak to see if anybody was talking about it yet. That's what they think.
And I
Because
think
why would you get on Yik Yak at 5 a.m?
And I think over the course of the next few days, wasn't he looking up? I think didn't he Google himself?
Yeah, he did.
He had been Googling himself. He Googled what was going on with the stabbings themselves. Some would maybe speculate when when he's Googling like the crime itself that it's almost they like to read about themselves.
Yeah.
He's famous without being known.
Yeah.
Because weren't they making a comparison between him and another serial killer?
Bundy.
Bundy.
Yeah. Yeah, because another theory is that was he actually trying to do a copycat murder of Ted Bundy's Chi Omega murders? Because Bundy had gone into a sorority house and killed 4 girls and left 2 survivors. So that was a speculation of why he did it. But did he know the boyfriend was staying overnight? Maybe. I mean, maybe he knew the routine well enough that he knew that the boyfriend was going to be there. I don't know. But that's just another theory going around, is that either he stumbled upon all the roommates or it was planned to copy Ted Bundy's Chi Omega murders.
Really.
And he really seemed in these papers that he wrote, these research that he's tended to emulate, like he really idolized Ted Bundy and the criminal mind. And because Bundy was smart.
Yep. And
I mean, he was a law student.
Kohberger's actually smart.
Oh, yeah.
Highly intelligent.
Yeah.
And he actually wrote a paper on evidence collection.
Yeah.
And really, when you watch the documentaries or you read about the case, had it not been for that knife sheath, that one thing, I don't know that they may have seen his vehicle in surveillance, but that would have been all they had was, well, it's a white vehicle with the missing front plate. And that's virtually nothing because they had to use that to find him. But then they had to do a trash pull for DNA to match DNA to a knife sheath.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had any DNA.
There would have been no connection.
Yeah. And, it's a college town. Because somebody could be commuting to classes with that vehicle. And that's why they're in the neighborhood all the time.
So there's just
He could have said, I'm in the neighborhood because my girlfriend lives over here. That's why I'm here so often.
Sure.
It's that he would never been caught.
Well, and he liked to go out at night and watch stars and hike at night, which was also kind of odd behavior. Yeah, really catching him was...
Yeah, it was a miracle.
Yeah, a little bit of luck.
Yep.
And now that he's taken his plea deal, we'll never really know. There's still a lot of questions that you'll probably never have answers to, like, how did you select that person?
Yeah.
Or even some whys or hows.
Yeah. And, in the background of him, he was troubled. There were some issues going on with him. I think he had what they call is it snow vision?
Oh, yeah.
And so that was an odd situation. I think that made him socially awkward because I think it was hard for him to actually visually see. Yeah, just odd stuff. And I think, when you have something like that, it probably does really attack your psyche and kind of make you probably a little crazy.
So something just occurred to me. So when you talk about Ted Bundy or these other serial killers, and let's say that he wanted to be like them, there would be another reason for him to make a plea deal. One, he makes a plea deal to take the death penalty off the table, so he spends life in prison. And something else that some of these other serial killers have done, they all got to speak and tell their story. And when they tell their story, that's really when they become famous.
Yes.
So now he can sit in prison, and he has plenty of time to be just like them, to tell the story that he wants to tell.
Creepy.
Yeah.
That's super creepy. Yeah.
Which somebody would pick up on it, and he would know this. Write a book, make a movie. Now he's famous, and now he's just like them.
Yep.
Could be.
I very well think that that's the situation. I know there's a lot of, the TikTok sleuths out there that have a lot of different theories and, crazy ideas.
I mean, there's still some odd things.
There's odd things, but I don't know. How do you prove some of that? I don't know.
It's definitely not like any other series of murders that I've ever seen. So
I guess we'll see. He's got his. Is there another hearing or anything coming up, or is he?
Just his sentencing date
There'll be a
for July
sentencing.
23rd.
Okay.
But I don't think he's obligated to say anything.
No, this just says when families of the victims will be allowed to speak.
Mm-hmm. And I think what it's going to come down to is he'll want to sell this story.
Yeah, because like he was described, like he thought that he was better than everybody else. And I think it came across with just one of the interviews from the students that he was the teacher's aide for. He kind of showed his grandiosity and so smart type of personality or whatever.
But was it right before or after the murders that he then started to be nice?
That was after.
It was after?
It was after.
That he was sending the nice emails and
being a little bit easier on the grading, saying, here's how you would improve to get a better grade. It's that, maybe not to suspect him, but also he had gotten in trouble. He got in trouble for the harsh grading, and he got in trouble for following the student to her car. And so I think he was on their list. He was on their shit list. So, was he doing it for that, or was he, who knows, but or trying to disguise.
It could be like, when you have a team that wins, let's say a Super Bowl, the biggest asshole on that team, now that you've won, you've accomplished the goal, is nice, at least for a while. At least for a little while. So, and that could be, now he felt good. He accomplished his goal. He proved that he could pull off the same thing that maybe somebody that he idolized. He did it. He won.
Yeah, because what did he do after the fact? He took a selfie of himself with a thumbs up and a squirky little smile. That was creepy.
I did it.
So, that all fits.
Yeah.
All of that whole profile fits.
Jesus, I'm as smart as a serial killer, maybe. Yeah, gosh.
Yeah. I was freaked out, but because I told you that story about how those items were in my house, and then I watched these 2 documentaries by myself alone. I was a little freaked out.
Oh, I bet.
I'm just thinking, oh my God, there's so many similarities. There's so many.
Well, not to make you feel any worse, but there's plenty of those people out there.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. So, better get some cameras in that house.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Primarily so I can see where my packages are going.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, then you better get a camera on the outside of the house, too.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah.
If you only have cameras on the inside of the house.
Yep. Got them both. Yep.
All right.
Got to have both. All right. Well, we'll catch you next time.
Yeah. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't talk back like you wanna